making Radici Meatballs, and we have our ingredients laid out for us. I have 1 pound mix of ground pork, ground veal, and ground beef. It's all mixed together and it's 1 pound. I have 1 cup of plain breadcrumbs, 1 cup of lukewarm water, 1 egg with about a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil added to it. I have 1/2 cup of pecorino Romano cheese. I have 1 tablespoon of fresh ground garlic, some salt and pepper, and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of fresh Italian flat leaf parsley. So we're going to get our ingredients together. Use a large bowl so you can fit all your ingredients into it. We'll start with our meat here and our egg. And obviously the egg helps bind the mix together. Plenty of cheese. Don't skimp on the cheese. It seems like a lot, but also spend the extra money on good quality cheese. It makes a big difference. We're going to add some plain breadcrumbs. More garlic. Parsley. Make sure it's fresh as well. I'm going to do a little salt and pepper. I just do, I don't know, probably about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And the important ingredient, the water. And this is what helps keep the meatball nice and moist. A lot of recipes you won't see this much water in, but trust me, it works well. Now we're going to mix them by hand. You don't want to get too rough with it, just kind of fold it almost with your hands. It's okay if they're not all perfectly incorporated. Now that we have our mix, I like to let this chill for about 20 minutes just in the refrigerator before we start making balls, so we're going to go do that right now. Alright, now we're ready to make meatballs. And dig right in there. I do them between, well, for the restaurant I do about 7 ounces. At home you can make them a little smaller, but I'm going to stick with my 7-ounce meatball here. I should get about 4 meatballs out of this mix with the meat and all the ingredients. You should get about 4 for this recipe. So we have a pot of simmering sauce here that we're going to put the seared balls in when they're done. And you're going to heat up some olive oil. Again, don't skimp on the olive oil. Use a nice extra virgin olive oil. You don't want to get the heat too high because olive oil will smoke at a very low temperature, which is why you seldom see it for searing. You can tilt the pan slightly and see the brown meat underneath here. That's when you know they're ready to flip. They shouldn't stick too much. If they're sticking too much, then they're not ready to go. So they should just release nicely. And again, just be really gentle with them when you move them around. And we're just basically trying to sear a few sides. You're not going to get a nice sear all around the ball itself, but we'll work it a few different ways here. Be careful when you do this. Olive oil will burn you. Splash a little bit, so. Again, we're just lifting up until it's getting a little hot because the smoke's starting to come off the olive oil, so we're going to turn it down a little bit. So, see how they just lift right up. And we're going to try to get one more little sear out of them. Then I'll take the pan off the heat here. Put it above the sauce. Just take a pair of tongs or your spatula and just gently lower them into the simmering sauce here. They don't have to be 100% covered. Obviously, when you add a couple more, you're going to get some displacement, and that's going to cover what we got in there. And whatever kind of sauce you like to use. Obviously, I use our house-made marinara here at Radici, but can make your favorite sauce at home, any recipe you have or your grandma might have gave you, or if you're feeling really lazy, just a can of ragu will work. So we got our meatballs in our sauce here. I'm just going to keep it on a nice low simmer. At home you probably have a nicer cover than this, but I just cover up the pot 20 minutes and they'll be done. And you should take them right from this sauce, put them over some nice fresh pasta, and you're good to go. So we got our meatballs. They've been cooking for 20 minutes. We'll go ahead and turn the heat off. We'll gently take one out. You can see it already starting to fall apart a little bit there. So Radici Meatballs. When you come here and you get an order of meatballs, that's what you're going to get. And then paired with it, I have our Chris Pinot Noir. It's an Italian Pinot. Goes great with the meatballs, but so does a nice glass of Chianti or Montepulciano.